Thank you everyone for joining us for another 2021 innovation webinar. It's great to be back. It's been a little while since our last webinar. Obviously, there's been some disruption and that's interrupted our webinar schedule, but we're excited to have a brilliant session for you today. If you're not familiar with what we do, these sessions are just a chance for us to dive into some strategic innovation topics and to showcase the expertise of our partners and internal experts. And today we're focusing on the topic of open innovation and community-powered problem solving, with HeroX joining us to announce our exciting new partnership. So hopefully you can all see my screen. I'm now showing the speakers for today. So from HeroX, we have Christian Cotticini, hopefully I'm getting that correct, the CEO and co-founder of HeroX. Hey, Christian. We have Steve Reed, the VP of US Innovation for Qmarkets. Hey, Steve.
Hey.
And my name is Elliot Wilkins, and I'm the marketing manager for Qmarkets. I'm just here to make sure everything goes smoothly and answer any questions along the way. So just to remind you, this session is being recorded and we'll have a Q&A session at the end. This is the agenda. So after I'm done introducing, I'll hand over to Steve, who will go through the open innovation practice at Qmarkets and how we facilitate that currently. Then we'll hand over to Christian, who will dive into the HeroX open innovation offering and talk a bit about our partnership. Then we'll have a short demonstration of the integration between the Qmarkets and HeroX platforms. And finally, at the end, we'll have a chance to answer your questions. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions throughout, either in the chat or the Q&A section in the Zoom panel. So yeah, without further ado, I think I'll hand you over to Steve.
Great, thanks, Elliot. So yeah, I'm Steve Reed with Qmarkets, managing the US North American front, and we're really excited today. So this is something that we've talked about between the two companies for a long time, and it's finally coming together, which is the perfect combination in my mind of combining Qmarkets and our 15 years of experience working with hundreds of companies across the world to not only do internal innovation with our QID8 product, but really expanding our offering and taking our QOpen product to the next level, which is bringing in HeroX and their millions of problem solvers. So we see this very much as a unique offering that will completely disrupt the market. So before we jump into that, just a quick introduction to Qmarkets for those of you who aren't familiar with us. And of course, Christian, I'll allow him to, he will take over after I'm done and jump into the HeroX piece of all this. So Qmarkets, again, 15 years as a company. Our strength really is connecting your crowds, right? That could be your employees, that could be your partners, your supply chain, and a variety of other groups that you work with, and making it something that's automated, something that's easy to do and provides ROI, dashboarding, and all the features that you would want to make this a simple process. So whether it's cost savings, catching the attention of your customers and understanding what they want. So we mentioned our background. We work with, the one thing I will say about innovation, and I'm sure Christian would echo this on the open innovation front, is there is no company size, there's no vertical when it comes to innovation. Maybe 15 years ago when Qmarkets started, it was restricted to a larger organization, but we have clients with 100 employees that use our platform for various forms of innovation and have seen great results from it. So, so I want to start with kind of where we're heading, right? How this starts. And one thing that you'll agree on, I'm sure, is every company, we could go through the biggest companies in the world on down. It starts with an idea, right? Whether it's one person or a group of people. But as the company grows, you run out of ideas at some point, right? That one person who had a great idea maybe has a few more, and at some point they're either going to become stagnant and not grow, or they're going to have to find more. And so without naming companies, there's a client I've worked with for a few years, and when we first met, they had a great idea, and that great idea propelled them to be a 1,000-employee company that was blowing out the seams. They had to open up a second office. Their first office was a makeshift office, and suddenly they were, a fast-growing company. But one of the pains they had was the CEO, again, at some point you're looking for ideas from other people. And so the value of Qmarkets over this last 15 years is we turn your company into a group of problem solvers. So whether you have 1 million employees or 5,000 employees, you're able to scale ideas, you're able to quickly identify good ones, and you're quickly able to put experts in your organization into the right spot to connect to them. So we would always say, to solve problems, you need people, and your people are your number one resource. But then over time, companies then want to expand that. And so on the next slide, you'll see kind of how we match up with what we call your ecosystem, right? So the companies we work with don't just collect employee ideas. They're looking at trends. They're looking at partners. They're looking at higher ed, academia, and experts outside their organization. They're looking at, if you're a city or a county or a state or a country, what can our citizens give us in terms of feedback? And then, of course, the one that we all think of is how do we get entrepreneurs, how do we get startups involved with our company so that we can become a startup all over again, right? And so your ecosystem might look something like this, right? Which is we look years in advance. We're trying to evaluate trends. What is AI? What is machine learning? What is robotics? What is technology that we need? And how is it going to impact our company? So as you look at trends, additionally, how do we tap into this realm of experts, right? Customers, partners, suppliers, startups, and so forth. How do we bring them in a secure and safe way into our environment? And so this is where, Qmarkets really is a global leader, right? So we have offerings, and today we're going to talk about QOpen, but we understand your world. We understand that your needs are a lot more diverse than collecting ideas from employees. Although that's, again, the key and a great starting point, right? At the end of the day, you're looking for outputs, right, of technologies, products, services, and IP, and so forth. So just to highlight what we're talking about today, one of our key solutions is what we call QOpen, and it is an open innovation where you're able to use your platform and to bring in your crowd, right? So again, that could be a variety of resources, but one of the trends we see from our clients is it's great that we work with our partners, but how do we build a network of problem solvers? So in my mind, at Qmarkets, we've identified 3 challenges when you do open innovation. So the first is we're a great company and we have a homepage, we have social media, we try to bring people in, but how do we find this crowd? How do we find people who can solve problems anywhere in the world that we may not be aware of? Secondly, how do they find us, right? Am I intuitively going to go to their website? How do I know how to give my startup, my idea to a company? And then third, and I think this is critical, I'm a large company, and one thing that happens to ideas internally is sometimes someone has a great idea, and by the time it works its way up, it's been converted into something that fits our culture, but is not what the marketplace wants, right? So how do we avoid destroying or diluting our ideas or ideas outside our company? How do we keep it pure? How do we bring people in and allow them to freely be creative? Because again, go back to that start of that company. A startup became a startup because they solved a problem, not because they all spoke the same way and agreed with each other. And so these are 3 things at Qmarkets we see, and we're really excited to work with HeroX. This is a community of, like I said, millions of problem solvers who have incredible experience that Christian will talk to you about in solving really complex problems. I mean, literally, how do we leave this planet? How do we go to other planets? How does NASA work with technology? HeroX is an incredible, has amazing experience helping solve these problems by their community of solvers. So with that, Christian, I will hand off to you and go from there.
Great, thanks, Steve. You can hear me okay? Awesome. Okay, dokie. Let me share my screen here. And yeah, we're really excited about our collaboration with Qmarkets. We're big believers in managing innovation, having a organized approach to innovation. We've worked with a lot of organizations doing crowdsourcing, and what we've learned is, you can get great ideas from the crowd. You can get new product ideas, algorithms, inventions, solutions to very technical problems. But if you don't have a way of taking all of these ideas and managing them through your own process, getting your product ready, helping integrate it, putting together really a pipeline for being able to get these to market quickly, then often what happens is these ideas just die on the vine. So we're big believers in a platform like Qmarkets, which allows you to manage innovation over time, iterate with different stakeholder groups, and to really develop those into some pretty powerful things. So that's really exciting. So our platform is really a place where people can post problems, challenges, ideas, and we attract the world's innovators, inventors, students, entrepreneurs, problem solvers, curious people to solve these challenges. And it sounds crazy, but it works amazingly well. And part of the reason for that is because we have so many smart, brilliant people here on the planet. We're all connected to the internet, or a lot of us are, and people are hungry to contribute and collaborate and do things that follow their passion, their interest, and crowdsourcing is really a way to incentivize that, which I'll get into in a minute. Now, we know that we live in unprecedented times. The internet is here, it's been here for a while, and things move fast. The marketplaces are moving fast. Organizations are feeling that high rate of change. What's the saying? The only thing that's constant is change, and that's never been more true than today. And things are not going to get slower in the future. So what a lot of organizations should be looking at is look at the market you're in and the rate of innovation in that market, and then look at your own organization and its rate of innovation. And you have to ask the question, are we falling behind? Are we staying pace, or are we leaders in our space? And if you're feeling like you're falling behind, it's been hard to get things going and moving, adapting and evolving, then if you play that tape out forward, it doesn't end well for organizations that don't really embrace innovation, really build that capability within their companies. So we believe it's an imperative, as Steve mentioned, even for smaller organizations, to start being intentional about innovation and not just have it be siloed or haphazard within their organizations. I love to start with this story. Bill Gates, started the Gates Foundation, retired from Microsoft, and while he wasn't planning microchips to be injected in the human population, he's been working on some pretty amazing things. He has $50 billion to spend, and one of the things he's been tackling is bringing modern sanitation to the developing world, and there's a lot of elements to that, but one of them is a toilet that doesn't require the infrastructure that we have in the developed world. So, him and his team, they researched it, they looked around, they realized there was nothing out there. So what he did was he started crowdsourcing. He released a challenge and asked the world, focusing on academic institutions, to come up with a toilet that would meet those criteria: cost, working without water, hygienic, et cetera, and some amazing inventions came out of this. And if you think about it, this is really interesting because Bill Gates has access to the world's most brilliant minds and people, and so even somebody with the resources like him see crowdsourcing as a superpower. One of the great things about crowdsourcing is you get to focus your organization and you get to focus on one set of things that you're focusing on, and then you can crowdsource to bring parallel innovation into your organization. The crowd can work on this other problem, this other challenge, while your team is focused on what they're focused on. And that kind of parallel innovation strategy works extremely well. And there's a lot of examples of that. And in fact, Elon Musk just launched a carbon prize with our sister organization, X Prize, which is pretty amazing. So often we talk about crowdsourcing and we don't necessarily get clear about what it is. So crowdsourcing is really an open call to do a task or a project that you do over the internet nowadays. And it's amazing. You set a goal, you open it up, and you invite anybody who's interested to solve it. You create a structure so that there's the right rules and guidelines and terms and conditions that are required. And then the crowd, they self-select, self-motivate, self-organize, and deliver solutions to you. It's really quite amazing. And it's a strategy that's existed long before the internet. But the internet provides an amazing platform for access to the global talent that's out there. So crowdsourcing can be used for many things. Here we're talking about open innovation, and it's very, very simple. You broadcast an open call. You basically take a challenge, a market opportunity, a technology that you want to apply in various ways, and you gamify it, if you will. You post it out. You attach incentives to participating. You leverage the existing incentives that the crowd has to solve problems. And you'll see all of these innovators and solvers come to the project, work on your problem. And the beauty of open innovation is it can be a pay for success model. So you can offer a bounty up for an innovation. You can get access to that IP to incorporate into your own product, into your own business. And if nobody can solve the problem, you don't have to pay anything. So it's really amazing. Also, organizations can also use it to source talent. So we have a lot of organizations that do crowdsourcing and then potentially hire or contract with the solvers that bring the best ideas. And it's an amazing merit-driven approach to finding talent, finding technologies. So that works extremely good as well. HeroX, the HeroX platform works in the knowledge space. So we can solve problems, and we attract solvers in a broad range of areas and experts. We are very much a horizontal platform, and I'll get into some case studies and some examples in a minute, so we can talk about those. And what's the point of crowdsourcing? Like, why don't you just solve the problems internally? Why go out to the crowd? Well, there's a couple of dynamics that are working here. One of them, which is covered by this book, The Medici Effect, which really covers how the Renaissance started in Florence by the Medici family, bringing a patron, or being a patron for scientists, philosophers, artists, all sorts of people, bringing them to Florence. And it caused an amazing explosion of ideas and innovation. And the key point there is innovation really comes from a diverse set of viewpoints. There's a diverse set of skills and perspectives. And you need that diversity. You need the crazy ideas, the not so crazy ideas, the totally different approaches to these approaches to the solutions that you need. And any organization, whether you're big or you're small, you often end up with a lot of groupthink, a lot of kind of biases that get put in, a lot of limitations in thinking that happen. It's just human nature. We all kind of end up looking at things the way that the organization sees it, and we don't necessarily see, brand new approaches and ways that things can be done. So open innovation is a great way to tap into the collective intelligence of people who don't work for you. And there's a lot of examples of that. Again, I'll get into that in a second. So in terms of getting started, if you haven't done open innovation before, there's a lot of easy ways to do it, and it can be done at a small scale at a pretty minimal budget. Or you can go big and really tackle something amazing. As I said before, the beauty of crowdsourcing is it's a pay for success model. So it allows you to be bold because if you've done your crowdsourcing project correctly, you'll be happy to pay the prize out because the IP that you're getting is going to be worth many, many times more than what you're paying out to the crowd. Organizations use it again for talent sourcing, just putting out things that they don't want to do or aren't really suited to do internally. And crowdsourcing is also a great way to attract early adopters to a new product, to engage with your consumers and your other stakeholders, because you're giving them an opportunity to participate and engage with your brand, with your product, with your technology, with the problem that you're solving. And that is an amazing approach to how to apply crowdsourcing. Again, we at HeroX, we specialize in helping organizations take their business problem, their technical objectives, their product roadmap, and convert it into crowdsourcing projects that really move the needle for them. There's a wide range of problems that you can approach. We have a lot of templates and models that can be used for helping organizations maximize the value of their open innovation challenges. And so that's something that we'll be happy to talk with organizations that are interested in doing it. We'll get again into that in a little bit. I wanted to cover some case studies. So, the beauty of open innovation is you can pretty much take any problem you want to solve that's solvable, obviously, and you can put it out online as a challenge, and you'd be amazed at the different types of people who are interested in solving these problems. And one person's trash is another person's treasure, as the saying goes. And we've had some really interesting and amazing, and sometimes some really technical challenges that can be solved, by the crowd. Tackling data challenges. This is one for evaluating fiber reinforced polymer composite structures and how to detect imperfections in those. So very technical, very detail oriented, but some amazing things can be done there. HeroX, we use our platform for our own crowdsourcing. This is a designer derby we did to source new challenge designers that we wanted to bring on board. So you can use this again for recruiting and for other types of things. You can use this to bring feed into other innovation programs, do hackathons and other things like that. So there's lots of those types of things you can be done. What are the great features you want to add to your platform? This is a great example where Ford has created an API, and they want to engage with developers. How can we API to create killer apps for our platform? This is a great example of engaging with consumers, people who love their Ford cars, are a developer in a tech company, and now you're inviting them to co-create the next Ford user experience using these intelligent technologies. So things like Internet of Things, creating APIs, platform integrations, user experience hacking. These are all things you can do really powerfully with open innovation. And by the way, if anybody has any questions, please jump out and you can put them in the Q&A section or in the chat, and we're going to cover questions momentarily. You can do, this is a great example of just something to engage with people. to create 10 minutes of a mini horror movie skit and engage with them. This was feeding into a larger program, which is pretty cool. And you can do things. I'm going to skip ahead to a few other things. Let me just see what I want to talk about here. This is a great one for a larger company, Coca-Cola. Really sourcing content and looking for those great ideas and great stories that they wanted to share that it really connect their brand. You know, we've all seen the Coca-Cola advertising. We know that they're very brand centric in terms of how they do it, and they wanted to get those really interesting, great ideas. And when you're doing this kind of work, you know, $100 grand for this type of content production, it gets spent very, very quickly. And so this model was very successful for them. And yeah, we do a lot of work with NASA. And what's great about talking about NASA is, you know, they have rocket scientists. They have a huge R&D budget. So why are they crowdsourcing? Well, it gets back to what I said earlier. You know, they've learned is they've had a long track record of working with crowdsourcing, that sometimes their perspectives on how to design things can be limited and they can't see outside the box. So they put these challenges out. And this one was done a few years ago for creating a new space toilet for the an upcoming program that's coming. And you know, you can see that we had huge engagement, and even a wedding proposal. So huge engagement on this challenge. And some of the technologies that came out were pretty incredible in terms of how they were being built. So I think that's pretty much everything I'm going to cover today. We can go to the demo. Steve, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. And I can honestly say in all my years, I've never heard of a wedding proposal as one of the rewards, but it's good to know.
That happens.
So what does this mean for Qmarkets customers, right? So at the end of the day, you know, we're recognized first and foremost as the most advanced, customizable, robust platform, right? And our clients are used to ease of submitting ideas, ease of putting together campaigns, the automation, the AI, all the pieces that make us best in class. Why now? Why are we working together, and what's the benefit here? And Christian's touched on what they offer. Clearly, our partnership means that our customers, Qmarkets customers who have the QOpen platform, they can now use the HeroX platform at no additional cost. So to me, this is, and to Qmarkets, this is a massive win, right? So Elliot, right now, you're looking at the, you know, you're having a look inside at the platform here. And so this seamless connection will mean as you put together campaigns or challenges or problem statements, you'll be able to take that and push it out to the HeroX platform. And now not only are you accessing potentially your 50,000 employees, but you have the ability to now go to potentially millions of people, right? So as you can see this here, this particular topic that we have set up just as an example, end users from HeroX then will be able to at the same time log in, right? So again, you sign in, you'll be able to launch the campaign on HeroX's platform, and they have some great services that they can offer as well to assist you in that. But this campaign on the Qmarkets platform will then be posted on the HeroX platform. You know, and through a simple login process, it's essentially a one-touch solution for both sides, right? For HeroX problem solvers and for our corporation. So again, we're excited about this. Again, our clients are used to the simplicity, right? As you look at Elliot here, go through kind of some of the features of traditional idea submission, that same process will be just as simple. So the good stuff is coming, right? So we're going to spend a little time showing you kind of what happens in the system, but really we're excited to talk to our clients, and those of you who are on the call, who are listening to the webinar, who aren't familiar, you have the ability to work with both companies right away. So really that's it from my end. Christian, do you want to add anything?
If I can add, so really what we bring to the table is for organizations that Qmarkets, so they've got a robust set of tools for innovation. One of the challenges with crowdsourcing is getting solvers. Like, how do you find the solvers? So by being able to use the Qmarkets platform and use QOpen to say, hey, this is a challenge we'd love to bring out to the crowd. We'd love to get their ideas, bring those submissions and that IP into the Qmarkets platform. The challenge is always, how do you get the word out? So by being able to take a QOpen project, publish it onto HeroX, you get access to the global crowd. That's what we specialize in. HeroX is really a matchmaking platform, and we help organizations find the solvers that they need. We work with a lot of academic institutions, innovation partners, communities. We do a lot of the marketing for these crowdsourcing projects on multiple social media platforms, and basically are just really good at that open call step of crowdsourcing. And that's one of the challenges that a lot of corporates have in doing these projects, which is, how do we get in front of the right solvers for our problem? And that's really what we bring to the table in our collaboration with Qmarkets.
Wonderful. Thanks, Christian, and thanks, Steve. That was really educational. So now I think we're ready to move on to the Q&A. I can see that we've already got a couple of questions, but if any of you have had any questions and want to sneak them in before we finish, please do so now and we'll try to get to them. Otherwise, if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us after the session. This session today has been recorded, so you'll receive a recording of the webinar within the next few days. And yeah, let's see what these questions are then. So first of all, someone says, I noticed a 10K prize on the HeroX campaign. Is this necessary for results?
Maybe I'll start on this one. So
okay. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, just from a Qmarkets perspective, a key tenet of this solution, just like the HeroX platform, is people want some form of reward, right? And so our experience, we've done research on this for, again, a decade plus, tells us if I'm an employee of a company, the rewards might be soft, right? And so we see some really creative solutions. It may not necessarily be money, but if you want collaboration, meaning not just the idea, but we want people joining the team. We want people putting solutions together. We want people co-creating. A soft creative reward is best, but certainly from an open perspective, right? Money is king, right? Christian probably could add to that.
Yeah, so the key, so using crowdsourcing for open innovation, the key is incentivization, is incentivizing participation. So the incentivization process that we go through, we look at multiple elements, both intrinsic and external incentives. Having a cash prize is the default and really obvious one that a lot of organizations use. There's multiple incentive angles that we look at for these. As we've mentioned earlier, a lot of the incentives is recognition, right? Getting global recognition of doing it. NASA, their participation, they get some amazing results with very small dollar values because they're really leveraging their brand, and they're really leveraging, the whole idea. Hey, I can work with freaking NASA. That's pretty cool. If you're an engineering student, and you see a challenge that they have, and you're like, oh, I was just working on a research project that solved, 75% of this problem, and I can just tweak it and boom. So there's a lot of, ideas of work that's being done out there in multiple disciplines. A lot of people tinkering with things. So when you do a crowdsourcing project, you're like shining a big spotlight on, well, this is our version of this. And you're inviting people who are working on similar things, interested in those things, to solve it. Data scientist, student has an idea on a specific algorithm, sees your challenge, realizes their ideas can be applied to solve your business problem. That's the kind of arbitrage that you get when you do crowdsourcing. Having a monetary incentive is often the way to go. We've also had clients use their product offerings as part of the incentives, or even profit sharing and royalties. A downstream royalty option is what we've also done. Also, if you have an existing hackathon or innovation program, or some type of award recognition project that you've got, you can also use crowdsourcing and feed that those incentives into your crowdsourcing projects. So we've even seen projects where the reward is to get a contract to continue that development work, right? So the reward is a job, if you will. So there's many ways of doing it, and what we help organizations do is match those incentives to the economic value of the project itself, so that there's a positive ROI on any crowdsourcing project that you're doing.
And let me just add one thing, because it came to mind. We have a client that they need a specific person to do this role. It's a very specific technology that they work with, and they are hard to find, some of these students, as they come out of college. And so they've actually used their platform asking questions, knowing that the people that are solving these questions, to Christian's point, end up becoming employees, right? Because that's what they're looking for, right? So they've turned their platform into an employee resource to find great talent around the world. So again, the outputs, yes, money's great, but man, there's a lot of ways to find talent, to find trends, to find technology. And that's often as good or a better reward for someone.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. Next up, it seems like there is value in using a challenge as a marketing tool, a way to bring a new set of personas and attention to your brand. Can you tell us about the analytics, some typical engagement numbers? Christian, maybe that would be one for you.
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, the key to crowdsourcing is an open call and bringing traffic and bringing solvers to your challenge and working with them. So our platform provides full analytics, demographic information for those that sign up and those participation, and that our customers find that extremely useful. Also, if you have existing communities, your existing social media program, feeding that into your crowdsourcing project can really help kind of weaponize your followers. Doing multiple challenges. You can build, like, NASA's a great example. We've done lots of projects with NASA, and they've built a big following for their crowd. So one of the things that we haven't really talked about is that HeroX is a platform. It's organized more like a social platform, in that we're not creating a HeroX crowd per se, but each of the brands on our platform is creating their own crowds, and then the HeroX collective is the crowd of crowds. And that that idea of hey, let's build our own innovation crowd. We're focused on AI, or we're focused on data science, or we've got this hackathon program. We really want to get more global participation. Crowdsourcing is a way to feed that in. The analytics are very important, so you can calibrate your project to get the best solvers and traffic that you can. So we provide all of that. The other thing that I think is really important is that like in the commercial side, a lot of organizations are concerned about, well, what if my competitors join my crowd, right? What if they want to provide some restrictions and some gating to these crowdsourcing projects, and so our platform allows you to qualify who's participating. We can create multi-phase challenges where you can vet in phase 2, you can vet the solvers who get access to proprietary or sensitive information. We've done projects in the defense industry where background checks were required because they were accessing very sensitive information. So we have the ability to really create the right structure so that these crowdsourcing projects meet your organizational needs and don't run afoul of your competitive goals and the things that you want to keep secret.
Cool. You've actually answered our third question there. We had someone who was concerned about their IP and confidentiality. So I think that you've pretty much covered that as well. Steve, do you have anything to add on that note?
On the third question on the IP, or
yeah, so the question actually is, our company has IP concerns. Is it possible to post the campaign to HeroX anonymously?
I'll add to my already answered question. So yeah, IP and like confidentiality, that they can be related. They can also be separate. So we handle on our platform all the IP transfer issues and make sure that the IP agreement that's in a crowdsourcing project meets the organizational needs. Also, in terms of confidentiality, often, if a company's working on a new product line and they want to do some crowdsourcing, they don't want their competitors to know that they're, what they're doing. They don't want to have access to these details. We can also, do a like white labeled crowdsourcing project where the brand's identity is remain hidden. There's multiple ways of doing that. So again, you can organize these in a way that your confidentiality concerns, your competition concerns, your IP concerns are addressed using a wide range of tools. Our platform's been used by organizations of all sizes, government agencies, et cetera. So we've hardened it to handle almost every circumstance that we could come across.
And maybe from a Qmarkets perspective, certainly it's one thing to have an idea, it's another thing to have IP. So as our customers, right, as they reach out and solicit feedback from people all around the world, they're going to bring them in, right? So Qmarkets still, strong standards of protecting IP, of confidentiality, of being anonymous. Once you've seen the ideas, you've used the platform with HeroX, you have that integration, which will allow you then to take those ideas, those discussions, and pull them into the platform and develop that relationship, that agreement. Again, the NDA, all that goes with it is still business as usual once it comes back into the ecosystem of Qmarkets. So.
Okay, wonderful.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. So Steve and Christian, unless either of you have anything else to add, I think we'll end it there. Great. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining. It's been an exciting session, and we're really looking forward to seeing what our customers do with the access to this to the HeroX platform. Hopefully we'll have some more proposals, and it will be a beautiful summer for both our customers and the HeroX customers. So yeah, we'll be sending a recording of the sessions over to you soon. And if you have an interest in learning more, please don't hesitate to get in touch, either directly with your account manager if you're a customer, or through our website if you're not already in touch. Okay, thanks a lot, everyone. Take care, and
thank you.
See you again soon.
Yep, talk soon. Yep, thank you.
Cheers.